Okay, so today I'll be showing you how to create a pie chart with explosive sections using Python in data analysis. So this is a part of data visualization that is very important, how to create, make sure your visuals give off an aesthetic appeal. So I want my pie charts to have sections, but with a little bit of spaces in between the pies. So first of all, I will import my data set. I've already imported all the libraries I know I'm going to be using. This is how I like to, do my analysis. Import all the libraries I'll be using in the first block of, in the first cell, because I'm using Jupyter Notebook. And so I'm going to run this cell so that everything becomes active, and I can also use it in the preceding cells without having to call or import this library. So head, and I set my index column to 0 so that I don't really want that, those index numbers displaying here and there. So brew.head, head displays the first 5 rows of your data set, first 10 rows. See the first 10 rows so that I understand the pattern of my data set, of when the data stored in my CSV file or in my data frame. So I'm going to run it and see how to get the first 10 rows from my data. Okay, so now this is it. I don't have my index column displayed. That's why I set it to 0. So you can see all the columns here, and we can see our years. So from this, I've already worked with this data set before, so it's already cleaned and I'm sure of what I'm doing. So our years here are stored in integer format because our date format is only stored in years. We don't have the day, the months, and the years. So we don't need to start switching it from integer to date frame and so on, and so on, as we will do in Python. So we have 2019, 2018. Now, what I want to I want to retrieve the year that's had the highest profit, the year with the highest profit. You can see the profit column and you can see the years column. So with a comment, I'm just going to create the heading year with the highest profit. So first of all, I'm going to determine the year with the highest profit before actually plotting my pie chart. Now, to get the year with the highest profit, I'm going to be storing it with a different name, year profit, which is fine. So I want to store my results in a data frame. So I will go with pd.data frame. Yes. Now, which data frame? Remember, I already stored it as brew here, which makes my work easy. So I'm going to use brew, and then I'll be using the group by method. In this case, what am I grouping by? I'm going to group by the years, and then I'm calculating the profits for each of the years. So my aggregates, I'll be using my sum to calculate them. So I'm going to call it year profit. And then shift enter for Python notebook to run it. So in this case now, you can actually, I have my year profit 2017, 18, 19. So I only have 3 rows. So it's easy for me to detect that 2017 had the year with the highest profit. Now, what if you have 20 or you're dating as far back as 1980? You don't need to use your eyes to manually, skim through, to manually review your data set. All you can do, you can still add the dot sort values. So what am I sorting this time around? I am sorting my profits. Yes, ascending. So no need for my parentheses. Ascending equal to false. Now I'm doing ascending equal to false because I want it to be sorted in descending order. So I'm just going to run it again, and here we have it, 2017, accounting for the year with the highest profit. I can still go ahead and edit this changing this profit. I want to switch this profit that I have here, this particular profit. I want to change the name, rename the column to total profit. So I can go ahead and still introduce dot rename. Now, mind you, I can easily break down my code, but I like to write my Python code in one line when I'm doing my analysis. I don't really like to break it down. So, but if you're a new learner in, with Python language for data analysis, you can break down your lines of code for easy understanding. You don't need to start with one line. As you progress in your learning journey, you can now start writing your codes on one line, and it's fine. So either way, whatever works for you, the most important important thing is that you understand it and you can get your result. There's no single way to doing one thing or the other. You can come up with a different code and get the same result. But I like to write my own, I like to put my codes on one line. So dot rename, what am I renaming? I'm renaming my columns. Now renaming these columns, I'm going to save it as a dictionary. So renaming my profits to what? I want to save it as total profit. So total profit, and then here I've saved my dictionary, and I'll close my parentheses to make sure my brackets to make sure everything is covered, and I'm going to run it again to see the result. So you can see total profit, the column has been renamed. And the next step is to actually plot my pie chart. So plotting my pie chart, being that I've already created a data frame year profit, and I want to create my pie chart from this data frame, so I just need to call in that data frame year underscore profit dot plot. So there are different ways to actually plot, and I'm not going to go into details about different ways. You can hit me up for other sessions, but I'm just going to go straight to what I have. So what am I plotting? The kind. I'm plotting a pie chart. That's the kind. Then y is equal to, I've already renamed my profit as total profit, so you have to be careful there. If you put profit, you might not get any results because Python is very strict. It only gives you what you ask for. So y is equal to total profit. Then for legend, I'm going to show you, I'll put true for now for you to see what it looks like before I change it. Legend is equal to true, and then my subplot, I want it to be true. Fine. And then I'm going to be putting my auto percent because I want the labels to be displayed. Now, those who are conversant with R, if it's the R, they call this piping or so. So I'm going to go with 1.1F and then double percent, and I am done. So for now, I'm just going to leave it here for you to see this, and then I'm going to. Okay, so I changed it to plt.show because I've already created the alias here. I've saved it matplotlib.pyplots as plt. So I'm just going to change it to plt.show, which is what I already have here, plt.show. So next thing, I'm going to run this. I use shift.enter. I'm going to run it and see what I get. Okay, so now this is our pie chart. As you can see, we all have the sections together. I didn't introduce everything. I intentionally excluded some things, and it just to show you the gradual process, to show you how the pie chart changes as I put in introduce things one after the other, so that you will not be lost. So now I have my plot that show. Okay, I've done that, and this is the legend. So I'm going to change this legend to false because this legend is just doing too much on our visual, and I don't want too much. As much as you want to relay information, you also don't want to make your visualization ambiguous. It will be distracting. So I'm going to remove the legend. So let's see how it looks without the legend. Run it again, and okay, fine. It looks better without the legend. Now what is missing is the title. So I'm going to introduce a title. Title is equal to, let me just say I want total profit. So don't forget to put a comma after introducing something new. Total profit for each year. Okay, this is fine. We have our title and our legend is gone. So let's still run it and see the change with this. Okay, this looks better. Now, in terms, I told you I was going to show you a pie chart with sections exploding in different directions. So after putting this total profit for each year, the next thing I'm going to introduce is the explode. So with this explode, it's very tricky. Explode, I will store it as a list. You can store it as numbers as a list. So with this explode, let me put in 0.1. First of all, 0.1, and then 0.1. Why we're using 3, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1? Because we have 3 sections on our pie chart here. So that's why I'm using 0.1 for each of them. And then I'm just going to run it for you to see the difference. Okay, so you can see the pie chart, different sections, but the spaces are just too far apart. So I think I'm going to be reducing it. Let me use something like 0.06, 0.06, and let me see, 0.06, and let me see the difference. Okay, this looks much better. So from these sections now, we can see that 2017 accounted for the highest profit. So 2017 is our year with the highest profit. So our visual tells us a lot without having to say anything. You don't need much explanation. So remember the rule of visualization in data analysis. Your audience should be able to get the message from your visual within the first 5 seconds of review. So within the first 5 seconds, after looking at my chart, you already know what I'm talking about. I have my title, I have my subplots, I have my legend. Sorry, okay, there's no legend. I have my labels and my pie charts, and everything is in order. So a quick recap of what we have done so far, like we did, like I said, I imported all my libraries and I had to run that cell. So each time you're restarting your Jupyter notebook, make sure you run all your cells, otherwise they'll be inactive. That is how Jupyter notebook works. So run all your cells for them to be active as fresh. So I stored my international breweries file, my CSV file, which is data set I'm using for this analysis, stored it and I assigned it to a different variable brew, storing it as a data frame. So the first 10 rows, brew.head 10. Remember, dot head alone without any parameter in your bracket will give you will display the first 5 rows. But putting 10 will now direct Python to display the first 10 rows, which is what we have here. Now we're working with the year with the highest profits. I wanted my result to be saved as a data frame. So I have my year profit, which is the new data frame that I want to store on my for my analysis. Year profits, your pandas, which is a PD, I've already aliased it as data frame, grouped by the years, calculating it by the profit, and then summed, that is the aggregate. So after that, I sort my values according to the profit in descending order. That's why I set ascending to false. I went ahead to rename my columns, the profit column to total profit, which is what I have here, and then went down to plot my pie chart. So kind, pie, total profit, and so on and so forth. And we have everything that we have here. So we can see this is what we have for today, just something very short. So you can introduce this in your analysis and you're good to go. So next time, at the end of this video, you're going to get my information. If you need to discuss, I'm also